Descartes' demon. Can we trust anything? We all walk around with a pretty firm conviction that the world we perceive is real, that the coffee we're drinking exists, that the screen we're reading this on is tangible, and that the memories of our past are reliable. But what if all of that, every sight, sound, and sensation, was an elaborate, flawless deception? This is the unsettling core of René Descartes' famous thought experiment, the evil demon or malicious genius, introduced in his 1641 work, Meditations on First Philosophy. It's not just a spooky story. It's a radical philosophical tool designed to demolish every preconceived belief and build a foundation of knowledge that is absolutely certain. The radical doubt machine. Descartes' project was one of extreme skepticism. He wasn't interested in just doubting a few things. He wanted to see if there was anything that could withstand the most rigorous, systematic doubt imaginable. He started by questioning the things that seem most obvious, our senses. We know our senses sometimes fool us. A stick half submerged in water looks bent, but it isn't. Dreams often feel incredibly real while we're in them, blurring the line between waking life and hallucination. These examples suggest our primary source of information, our sensory experience, is inherently unreliable. But this initial doubt isn't enough for Descartes. He pushes further, asking, how can I be certain I'm not dreaming right now? The feeling of sitting, the sight of the text, these are sensations I could have while sound asleep. To conquer this dream argument, he invents a much more powerful conceptual adversary, the deceiving God, or more commonly, the evil demon. Devil, the ultimate deceiver. Imagine, Descartes proposes, an entity of supreme power and cunning, who is employing all his energy in deceiving me. This is not merely a mischievous spirit. This is an omnipotent illusionist. This demon could be feeding your brain perfectly convincing sensory data that tricks you into believing you have a body, a home, and a physical world outside your mind, when in fact you might just be a disembodied consciousness floating in a void. The deception isn't limited to physical objects. The demon could be manipulating your most fundamental logical beliefs. What if 2 + 3 = 5 is actually a clever lie the demon implants in your mind every time you think about it? What if the simple geometric truth that a square has 4 sides is a constant fabrication? The evil demon argument is designed to make universal, systematic doubt possible. If this entity exists, then every single one of your beliefs, from the mundane, the color of the sky, to the mathematical, the certainty of arithmetic, is instantaneously cast into shadow. This is the epistemological abyss, a state where a philosopher is left with literally nothing they can claim to know for sure. Fact. The unshakable truth. Cogito, ergo sum. This thought experiment, however, is not designed to end in despair. It is a crucible intended to burn away everything until only one irreducible, self-evident truth remains. And Descartes finds it in the very act of doubting. If the demon is deceiving you, then you must exist to be deceived. Even if every single thought you have is false, the fact that you are having those thoughts and being deceived proves the existence of a thinker. The core truth is not what you think, but that you think. This realization is famously summarized in his most iconic phrase, cogito, ergo sum. This cogito moment is the escape hatch from the demon's trap. It is the first piece of knowledge that is immune to even hyper-skeptical doubt. It doesn't rely on the senses or on external reality, only on the internal, undeniable evidence of one's own conscious experience. It establishes the mind, res cogitans, or thinking thing, as the first and most certain reality. Brain, modern echoes, and ethical implications. While Descartes eventually uses a rather controversial argument involving the perfection of God to justify the existence of the external world, the real power of the evil demon lives on in contemporary philosophy and popular culture. The brain in a vat hypothesis. The demon is simply the 17th century analog of the modern brain in a vat thought experiment, popularized by philosopher Hilary Putnam. In BIV, a brain is removed from a body, kept alive in a nutrient-filled vat, and connected to a supercomputer that generates electrical impulses identical to those a normal person would receive. The brain, and the consciousness it produces, would have experiences indistinguishable from reality. The core question remains: how could you prove you're not a BIV? You can't, which shows that absolute certainty about the external world is epistemologically difficult, if not impossible. Ethical responsibility. The demon also raises an interesting ethical problem. If our perceived reality is a complete illusion, does that change our moral obligations? If the people we interact with are merely complex, well-rendered programs created by the demon, does harming them matter? The Cartesian response is that while the physical reality might be uncertain, the reality of our own internal experience of duty and compassion is certain. We exist as thinking beings, and our moral deliberations are part of that existence. The subjective feeling of obligation remains, even if the object of that obligation is illusory. The true legacy of Descartes' demon isn't to make us question our lunch order, but to force us to interrogate the quality and structure of our most fundamental beliefs. It challenges us to look inward for the only source of unassailable certainty, the undeniable fact of our own self-aware existence. It's a powerful lesson that knowledge must be earned, piece of carefully scrutinized peace, beginning with the irreducible truth that you are here. If this deep dive into radical skepticism and the search for certainty sparked a thought, or if you have your own theory on how to defeat the demon, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this journey into the mind's ultimate frontier, and subscribe so you don't miss our next adventure in philosophy.